today's deck profile, we have Skull Servants. Now, this isn't a synchro-based Skull Servants. This isn't competitive Skull Servants. This is just straight up, like, basic Skull Servants, kind of, if you just wanted to toy around with the deck. I am going to have updated profiles of this deck as times progress. I'm waiting for cards to come in the mail for different variations of the deck. But for right now, this is what we got. So, kicking it off, obviously, your triple Skull Servants. I know I've seen a couple of deck profiles. I've only played 2 of him, but I enjoy having the third one in there. Your second card in the deck is going to be 3 of the Lady in White. Pretty much one of your main monsters you want to get on the board. If you get 2 of her in defense mode on the board, you're practically untouchable. Because your level 3 or lowers can't get attacked while she's on the board if you got 2 of her. Obviously, it's kind of like the Marauding Captain Lock. But with Skull Servants. And her name becomes Skull Servant in the graveyard. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. And then 1 White Prince. You probably should run at least 2 of these. I only have the 1 right now. Like I said, I'm waiting for some of the cards to come in the mail. So for this build, we're only running the 1. Then, obviously, Triple King of the Skull Servants. Your main card gains 1,000 for every Skull Servant in the grave. And all of your monsters become Skull Servant once they hit the grave. So, that's pretty good to have. 2 Zombie Master and 1 Mizuki. Because you do want to get your Skull Servants to the graveyard. And Zombie Master's ability to ditch a monster to special summon one. It's always good to have. You can special summon your kings from the graveyard. You can ditch your White Prince and special summon out your king, whatever have you. And then Mizuki, banishing it from the grave to special summon a zombie. Like if all your kings are in the graveyard. Right. 2 Armageddon Knights to ditch a dark from your deck. Obviously, your Skull Servants are all dark monsters, so you're going to want to ditch them and get them in the grave as quick as you can. And then triple Mystic Tomato. This card is so much fun, especially late game. After you have a lot of your Skull Servants in the graveyard, you just set this, your opponent attacks it, and then you drop your King and the Skull Servants, and now you got a 5,000 beater on board, a 6,000 beater on board, and your opponent's fucked in most situations. Yeah. So that's your monster lineup. For your spells, it's pretty basic. Triple Book of Life to special summon your zombies from your graveyard. Your Zombie Masters, your Skull Servants, whatever have you. 2 Call of the Mummy. Always a good card to have. Being able to special summon. 1 Pyramid of Wonders. All your zombie type monsters gain 200 attack for each monster on your opponent's side of the field. And then if you only control 1 monster, like late game when you have just 1 king on board, and if it were to get destroyed, you can destroy wonders instead. 1 of the Everliving Underworld Cannon. This card, there's not much I have to say about this card, but when a zombie type monster special summoned to your side of the field, you inflict 800 points of damage. Being that you have the Zombie Master in your deck, you're going to do a lot of special summoning, and with the 3 Book of Life. So that's a good way to get some damage on your opponent. 1 Foolish Burial, obviously ditch your Skull Servants. Double Summon. Dark Hole. Play Regeki. If you have Regeki, play Regeki. I tell you guys that in every video. I gotta pick up more copies of Regeki, but Dark Hole. 2 MST. 1 Lightning Vortex. Another way to ditch your Skull Servants from your hand to the grave, and it blows up your opponent's field, like the monsters on your opponent's field. 1 Burden of Mighty. This card definitely helps out a lot. Especially late game when you want to go for that 1 attack kill and your opponent's got monsters on the board. They lose 100 attack for each level they are. So if they're 8, they lose 800, so on and so forth. It's always a good card to have. 2 Swords of Revealing Light. This card's old school as hell, but still a good card. Get your opponent to waste their MSTs, waste their Dust Tornadoes, waste their effects to pop a spell card, whatever have you. Creature swap. people don't see this coming late game, you draw into a regular Skull Servant and then creature swap their boss monster. Like, yeah. That's it for your spells. And traps. 1 Torrential Tribute. 1 Bottomless. 1 T-Roar. And 2 Graceful Revival. Graceful Revival. For those of you that don't know, a level 2 or lower monster from your graveyard, special summon it. Your King of the Skull Servants is only a level 1. And your regular Skull Servant's a level 1. So, worst case scenario, late game, if you have creature swap in your hand, you can Graceful Revival, bring back Skull Servant, and then creature swap it to your opponent. Get something a little higher. Or just bring your king out. That's usually what I use it for. I ditch all my kings to the grave, and then I just Graceful Revival in late game. But, guys, that is the deck profile. I know it's not the best Skull Servant deck out there. It is just a start. Like I said, I'll have updated profiles to come. But it is a fun deck for a new player. It's relatively simple. The idea of the deck, just get your monsters to the graveyard and summon your king out. That's literally the idea of the deck. So guys, down below, let me know what cards you think I should add to the deck. Maybe let me know what variations of the build you guys have. Give me some ideas on where to go with this. And don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up, because then I'll know you guys like these random low budget decks and cheap decks and stuff like that. And don't forget to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Yeah.